Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Mr. Rido and everyone. My name is Nadziroh. In today's occasion, I would like to present my book review towards nonfiction entitled Educated, written by Tara Westover. So, without any further ado, let's start the presentation. So, this presentation will be divided into sub-discussion. For the first discussion will be about book profile. So, as I mentioned before, that this book is a non-fiction book. It means that it tells the story about the writer herself. The writer of this book was Tara Westover and was first published on February 20th, 2018 by Penguin Random House in United States. This book consists of 352 pages and was translated into more than 40 languages in many countries all over the world. In addition, this book earned so many kind of awards, and it was successfully sold 4 million copies in March 2020. It means that it needs only 1 year to make this book was well known to other people around the world. Because of the splendor of the story, this book got so many literary awards from many parties. Some of them are from Bill Gates, the richest man in the world. Bill Gates recommended people to read this kind of story because he thinks that Westover Westover ability to learn on her own blows him right out of the water. It is said by Bill Gates. In addition, the ex-president of America, Barack Obama, also recommended people to read this book because during summer season he always read a book, and he said on his social media, which is Facebook, to invite people to read this book, this nonfiction. So at that time he recommended Factfulness, written by Hans Rosling and educated by Tara Westover. So as I mentioned previously, that this book got so many awards from literary awards. So some of them are Goodreads Choice Award for Memoir and Autobiography in 2018, and the next is Los Angeles Times Book Prize nominee for biography in 2018, and PEN or Jenny Stein Book Award nominee for shortlist in 2019. So that was all about book profile. Next, let's jump to the next discussion. This will be about author's biography. Tara Westover was an American essayist, historian, and also memoirist who was born on September 1986. She was the youngest child from her parents who lived in rural Idaho, exactly under the mountain of Idaho, United States. Her father worked as former goods collectors, and her mother was well known as self-autodidact midwife. Westover first studied at Brigham Young University, and he got her MPhil degree at Trinity University in 2009, and also she got her PhD degree at Cambridge University in 2014. She also used to be a fellow student at Harvard University. Even for the first time, Westover never think to take this over because she didn't have confidence enough to take this. But then her professor gave her advice to get this kind of opportunity because the professor think that this is good for her. And then finally, Westover will study there and get her degree. So Educated was her first book, and it becomes the most read books in Goodreads. And during her studying, she writes an essay, and it becomes the and it was produced to be a book, and the title of this book was Educated as We Know. And the next discussion will be about synopsis of the book. Westover spent her childhood in Idaho, United States. She always obedient with her parents' rule, even though she never agreed with that. And she always wanted to out from that kind of zone because she really wanted to get a better education. Her father was an opposed person towards any kind of institution, such as hospital, education, and also government. Her father believed that if if God if only God that can give people disease, and God also the only one that can give a recovery for the people. So her father never believed that hospital can give them recovery. Even her father never sent Westover to the any kind of institution to get a better education. And also her mom was well known as obedient wife, so she was known as self-autodidact midwife. So whoever whoever getting sick in this family, her father always asks her mother to make a herbal medicine to be given to the one of the member who got sick. And also her father also believed that doomsday will come on December 31st in 1999. So it make him store so many honey and any kind of food, pancakes and also butter to be restored at the warehouse, so that until doomsday come, he thinks that his family um, will have will have food to be eaten until doomsday come. So even this Westover family can be called as a crazy family because they don't ever believe whatever people said except his God. And one day, Westover got abuse from her siblings, which is her brother, and she told it to her mother. But then her mother never trust that kind of phenomenon, because she thought that her family all her family members are good people, so it is impossible for her children to give any abusive behavior to another sibling. So it makes Westover so angry at that time, and then it also makes her to get out from this family. So Tara Westover tried to take um, high school test equivalency uh, in order to continue her study, even though she never studied from she was child until she was 17 years old. So after she was successfully got the high school equivalency test, she finally um, accepted at Brigham Brigham Young University, and she lived at dormitory. And the habit that is taught by her father was brought to the dormitory, so it makes her friends both from campus and dormitory didn't like her because of her habit. He never washed her hand after he do anything, and it makes her hand dirty. And also she always threw the rubbish anywhere, and it this habit is really really make her friend inconvenience. And she thought that this also this she thought that what's wrong with her habit. And after that she asked her Christian leader to teach to taught her to learn about the good habit during her studying at Brigham Young University. So at that time Tara was over, will start to write her essay, and it becomes a good essay and make her professor amazed towards this kind of essay. And it then later on become a non-fiction book entitled Educated. After reading this book completely and read some reviews from people who already finished reading this non-fiction, I directly focus on the issue that was happened and experienced by Tara Westover. So, because Westover, as a daughter of her father, this issue can be found from the first chapter I read this book. So this book tells about how her father how Tara Westover lived her life, how her father arranged her life, and also how stick in the mood her father is towards the religion he embraced at that time. So according to Martin Schoenveld and friends in 2019, conservatives live more orderly, conventional, and neat. This statement really represents that Westover father who always who always who his whose life is really conventional. His attitude and way of life is so neat, but then it's conventional. It can be found in the first chapter, pages 14. So I will read the quotation. So breakfast became a test of loyalty. Every morning, my family sat around a large table of reworked red oak and ate either 7 grain cereal with honey and molasses, or even grain pancakes also with honey and molasses. So because her father only believed what scripture stated, her father didn't believe that um, the that foods are good except honey and molasses. So her father really hates cheese and milk, so her father never store milk and cheese at his house because he believed that that milk and cheese are not good. So her father never let his family eat cheese and also milk. So the quotation that support the evidence that her father was a conservative person was shown in chapter 2, which is this is the conversation that happened between his wife, and also the midwife. Obviously, I should have registered her when she was born, but I didn't. So here we are, said the mother. Voices murmured on the other end of the line. I've already told you, and your subordinate, and 50 other people this week, She doesn't have school or medical records. She doesn't have them. They weren't lost. I can't ask for copies. They don't exist. So this quotation shows us that her family, even her mother, who was always obedient with her father, really support her father rules that he never allow his family or children to get any medical records and also school and birth document. So that was all about my presentation today. Thank you very much for your nice attention and good evening.